Grace and peace to you, friends. Pastor Alex here. I just wanted to shoot this quick prayer video for the month of October, just to kind of touch on a few thoughts on prayers. The weather this morning is beautiful. It actually feels like fall, and just kind of reminds you of changing of seasons. And so what I love about the changing of the seasons is that each season is unique and it offers different opportunities to experience different things. Perhaps you've been going through a different season of life in your own spiritual walk. Maybe you're going through a season where you feel especially close to God, where you feel His provision, His peace, His comfort, especially close to you. Conversely, some of us might be going through a season where we feel the opposite. We feel very far away from God. We know here, but we don't feel it and know it deeply here in our heart that God is with us, God loves us. And so one of the reasons why it might feel that way is just the crushing despair of different situations, different things going on in your life, or in our community's life. And so here's some thoughts on how to help, whether you're feeling far from God or close to God, if you feel His love near and deeply personal, or if you feel far away. Here's some thoughts on prayer. So, for one, give yourself grace. With the changing of a new season, enter into a new season. Maybe you've been out of a rhythm of prayer. Maybe the busyness of the world or the excitement of different things has drawn your attention away. Here's an opportunity to refocus, to re-engage in the conversation with God. And that's what prayer is. It's communing with the Father, with God the Father. It's sitting in relationship. And part of a relationship is communication, right? So if you're your best friend, your sibling, your spouse, if you're married, all the important relationships in your life are rooted in good communication. And so, with God, it needs to be a two-way conversation. I don't know if this is true of you, but it's been sometimes true of me, where you get overwhelmed, you get frustrated, you get scared, whatever's going on, and you just kind of go, God, I need this. And you lay it out, and you go, I feel better. And then you just go about your day. You don't take the time to sit and listen. Part of the reason why you might struggle with that is that we live in a culture that's extremely busy. There's always noise, whether it be literal sound noise or there's light noise, there's ads, there's all kinds of things going on. So it takes a lot more diligence and discipline to cultivate these sacred rhythms of rest and relationship with God through prayer. And so here's a few ideas to help you, and particularly if you're neurodivergent, if you struggle with ADD, ADHD, or other challenges. Here are a few tips. One is to have a set spot that you go. Similarly to having a standard bedtime is helpful if you struggle with going to sleep on time. Having a same time or a place you meet with God regularly will really help you quiet your mind and enter into this posture of listening, of sitting and communing with God as you put in the reps, the work to go and do to this place repeatedly. It could be your car, or it could be your truck. It could be your home office. It could be your bedroom. You could close the doors. You could, adopt whatever posture is helpful. For me, there's a chair that I like to sit in that's been very helpful just to center me. So you sit and you pray, maybe you read a few Psalms and then you listen. Maybe you read a few Psalms and you listen. Another thing is, for some of us, silence is not very helpful. So sitting in silence with God doesn't mean there can't be any noise. So instrumental music, it would be helpful. Gregorian chants would be helpful. There's a band I listen to called Poor Bishop Hooper that has this instrumental tracks to their every psalm project. That's really helpful for me to quiet my mind and to be more contemplative. Find whatever works for you. Another tip would be to light a candle. Whether it be a scent-free candle or a scented candle, or if you're a person who's worried about forgetting and burning your house down, or for whatever reason, you also could use, a little LED tea light to just kind of draw you in, to remind you of God's presence. But yeah, those are just a few tips to do to help you draw closer to God. Also, just to give yourself grace. So as your mind wanders, as it inevitably does, especially if sitting in silence or contemplation is new to you, you might find yourself distracted hundreds of times, and it can feel defeating. But just remember that each time you get distracted is the opportunity to choose to return to God, to say, you know what, it's worth it, I'm going to try. Journaling your thoughts might be helpful. Stream of consciousness, but trying to listen, adopt a posture of listening and hearing God. And sometimes you'll hear him in a still voice. Other times you'll feel him as a presence. Other times you might not hear anything or perceive anything in that time, but you just feel closer to God. And then later throughout the day, he gives you a word of encouragement through someone else or through something else that happens. One last tip. We're going to be reading through Praying Like Monks, Living Like Fools by Tyler Staton. At the prayer gathering this past September, we had a really good conversation, beginning a conversation about the Lord's Prayer and talking about the way that can help shape and mold us in the image of Christ, how it can help us arrange our prayer time with God. And so this is a great resource. If you're interested in flipping through it, I have a hard copy here at the church. If you want to flip through it, I believe they're like $12 online, digitally, in hard copy. But it's a great resource, really helpful. One of the best books on prayer I've read in the last several years. So anyway, what questions do you have about prayer? What have you tried in your own to quiet your mind or to help you stay focused, especially if you do have a neurodivergent diagnosis, or just, what helps you connect with God and listen? What helps you create space? Do you have a set time? Do you have a set place? Do you have what practices do you have that work for you? I'd be interested to know. Feel free to comment below, whether it be in the YouTube link or in the Facebook video. Feel free to comment below. I look forward to discussing with you and community. And until I see you again, friends, God bless, and you are loved.